Hello, Steve White, Trek 89 for Steve Arts 89. I'm going through my convention experiences meeting Star Trek actors and celebrities and so forth. Um, there was a really nice period of fan-run conventions in Melbourne in the 90s and late 90s and the early noughties. It was really great. And but not all these people were nice to meet. One of the ones I really didn't like was Jeri Ryan, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, but I kind of feel like she needs her own video. I don't think she's actually gotten a video. I've just talked about her in other things. So, yes, everyone was excited about it, and mostly, part of me didn't really respect her because I just felt like she just exploited her sexuality. I know the character was well written and she's a decent actor, but I just felt like she just really took advantage of that sort of lame sort of fan service where they wanted to put like the hot chick in the show sort of thing. And Kate Mulgrew was sort of sidelined in a way in her own series just because, you know, they wanted someone younger and hotter. It was just really kind of, it was something that you sort of were aware of back in the day. And I wasn't sure what she'd be like in person, but when she did the Q&A, she was fine. You know, there were some kids asking stupid questions and things like that, and I always try to ask good questions in the conventions, so because I sort of knew the guy who was filming a lot of these, and there wasn't a lot to sort of use in some ways because a lot of the fans just asked really pointless questions, you know. And I always tried to ask something intelligent, and I asked her when she was developing the character, did she do any research into childhood abuse or molestation and that to try and sort of make an analogy or, you know, relation from that sort of experience to being assimilated by the Borg and abducted and violated in that way biomechanically when she was a child. And she said she actually did. She actually spoke to people and she understood that it was sort of symbolic of that sort of thing, and she understood how that worked and as, you know, allegorous and stuff like that. And she had a nice little talk about that and her craft and her research and all that, and I felt like I gave her a nice question because I was just asking really dumb questions, which happens a lot at the conventions. And then later when I met her, I sort of felt like she would have appreciated that I gave her a good question. I threw her a good question and she got to talk for a while about some interesting stuff. And she just was really quick. She was really mechanical. And I had heard that she's all business. She'll get him in, get him out. Doesn't take any time with anyone. No, you know, nothing. And I sort of thought, well, I'm Stephen White. I'm special because, you know, I have that issue. And I came up to her and she basically just got me through as quickly as possible. And she didn't really give me a chance to sort of say what I wanted to say. And I thought, she's rushing. You know, she's got a lot of people. I'll come back later when the queue's basically gone. And I just want to tell her this story about a friend of mine that had an experience when they were a child, and this character helped her sort of relate to that character and relate to that experience, and you know, it was sort of meaningful to them. And the experience that I'd seen her go through when she was watching the episode, and how I think it helped her husband understand what she'd gone through and stuff. And it was you know. And when I tried to talk, she looked at me and said, "Oh, you again." I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to try and share something with you. I thought you might actually appreciate that, you know, your work really affected somebody's life in a positive way. Sorry, I didn't, you know," that's what I'm thinking. And so I said, "Well, fine." I just told her just some random thing. I said, "Oh, yeah, I just want to tell you that my niece is going to teaching and she really loves you in Boston Public." She's like, "Okay, thanks." And I just walked. I said, I thought you don't deserve my story. My story was really beautiful. You don't deserve it. So, whatever. So I kept going. And I just thought, you're a really horrible person to say that to someone. "Oh, you again." How do you know I didn't buy more autographs or something? You know, how do you know I wasn't getting an autograph for someone else or something? Like, you know, just who would say that to someone? She's just not very nice. She's just really, and that's what happens when you're a very beautiful person in a place like Hollywood. You get treated better than everyone else, and you think you're better than everyone else, and you think that people are less than you, and you can just look at them like, "Oh, you." I just didn't like her, and I don't like what they've done to Seven in Picard. I can kind of understand why she wouldn't have any problem with it, because she doesn't have a heart or soul. She is a Borg, basically. That's why she was so good as that character, because she's not really human. She doesn't really, I don't think she really has like any humanity, really. She's just one of those cold mechanical people. So yeah, that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. And yeah, I can understand why she allowed them to turn her character, this beautiful character that we did all love, because we love the character. I love the character, but they turned her into a cold-blooded murderer, and she just gets to captain a ship like it doesn't matter. There's no consequences for murdering someone in cold blood out of revenge. Like, Gene Roddenberry would never allow one of his characters to do that in a show and have no consequence, and they're just like, I don't understand what they did to this character and how they did it. But that's my Jeri Ryan story. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think if you had an experience with, the Borg.